Sorry, I'm late. It is not a live stream on my channel if I am not late. Okay, so first things first, let me make sure that I'm audible. It has been so long since I have done any sort of live stream or anything remotely like this. So let's just call today a an effort to get back into the swing of things, I suppose. Because guess what, y'all? This is really exciting. I'm going to have the time to do more of my hobbies, and that means that I'm going to be able to come back to YouTube in a bigger way. Um Sorry, my mic hates me. And like if I breathe at it wrong, it like unplugs. So I have to like keep an eye on it the entire time that I'm talking. Otherwise it'll shut off. I need to get a new cord. That's the problem. Anywho, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. This is the Fox and Compass, where I talk about whatever the heck I want to talk about. I had started just recording this video. I wanted to just do an unscripted sort of exploration into the coverage of the Resilient Jenkins, but I got like 15 minutes into recording it and decided it would just be so much funner as a live stream. And I haven't done a live stream in a long time, so here I am. 15 minutes late as per usual, but you know what? Time is fake anyway, so why be on time for anything? So for those of you who may or may not know who the Resilient Jenkins are, don't worry, I'm going to tell you. I am going to put a couple disclaimers out there. I am not defending Stephanie or Drew. I am not here to argue their point, their side, or anything like that. I'm also not here to really talk about them. I'm here to talk about the coverage of them, because the coverage of them is garbage. So we're going to talk about that. Yes, Val. Time is a construct designed to keep us down. I'm not kidding. Anyway, so if you know anything about the Resilient Jenkins, you know that there is a lot of drama and there's a lot of controversy surrounding a particular woman, her partner, and their, gaggle of children, right? So, and of course, I have a chart. I'm going to tell you who we're talking about. I'm going to go through it. I will say, go back to my disclaimers. I'm not here to defend Stephanie. I'm not here to defend Drew. I'm not here to denigrate them either, because the point of this live isn't really to talk about them, because I don't really care about them beyond, I think that Stephanie is probably not a great human being. We'll say that. But I'm not going to talk about the children. There's going to be some videos that we watch that might show the children, but the videos that we're watching are of creators who have already done the work of like covering the kids' faces. For the most part, no one uses the kids' names. I'm not here to talk about the kids. I don't want to talk about the kids. If I see you in the comments trying to talk about the kids or saying anything related to, oh, Stephanie's a terrible mother, she should have the kids taken away, or some eugenicist nonsense about, oh, Stephanie should be sterilized, people like this shouldn't be able to have kids, you shouldn't be able to have kids if you're this poor, stuff like that. That's fascist as fuck, and it's not going to go on in my chat. So just getting those disclaimers out of the way. So if you don't know who the Resilient Jenkins are, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you a brief overview of who they are. So this is Stephanie. This right here. She is Stephanie. Stephanie is the matriarch. We'll say that. And we're going to use that word real loosely. Matriarch. Let me get rid of that comment. Okay, Um, Stephanie is the matriarch of this family. Previously, she had been with a man named Jeremiah. We will briefly touch on him later. What you need to know now is that he's bad news. They have 2 children together, 2 little girls. Stephanie either left or was forced to leave Jeremiah, was single for a little bit, not very long, but was single for a little bit, ended up in a relationship with Drew, who had 1 son already with Desiree, who lived with him. This is his son. And has 1 son from a previous relationship that is older than this son with a woman named Arlita. We're not really going to talk about Desiree and Arlita too much because the custody cases, the child support cases, none of that matters very much in the broad scope of what I am going to be talking about. So, Drew had a son already. Whenever he and Stephanie got together, they lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, and this is why they went viral. They lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with Stephanie's 2 children because this guy's in prison for life. So Stephanie got with Drew. He had a boy already. They had 3 children plus them in a 1-bedroom apartment. The children were sleeping in the dining room. And then Stephanie got pregnant 3 times that we know of. She lost one of the babies. Horrible. But then she had a little boy and then she had a little girl. So there were 5 children plus Drew and Stephanie living in a 1-bedroom apartment until they were evicted shortly after Christmas. And now they live in a motel, all 7 of them. So that's why they went viral, because they didn't seem to want to do any better for their situation. Oh, and Val says, I know nothing about Jenkins, resilient or otherwise. Well, I'll tell you, they aren't that resilient. Love the chalkboard. Thank you. I really liked this background. It was nice. I know this is like super informal and ugly, but here we are. The main players that we're going to talk about today are Stephanie and Drew, but we're really not going to go too deep into them, except for what I really want to talk about, which is the coverage of the Resilient Jenkins, because I think that this is really, really important. So the 3 people you have to be concerned with here are Radiant Brit, Cursed Eye, and Rights and Rights. Rights and Rights pretty much only makes content on TikTok. Radiant Brit is a kind of well-known reaction content channel over here on YouTube. And then Cursed Eye is a lesser known one, but she, because of her coverage of the Resilient Chicken stuff, her audience has grown. And rightfully so. She's, full disclosure, I do not like Radiant Brit on this channel. I've spoken about that before. I think that her coverage is ungood. So we will not be speaking too favorably about her, but I do appreciate Cursed Eye's coverage. I don't think that I don't think that there's any malicious intent behind the coverage that she's doing. And I do think that she adds just enough context to what she's talking about to not just come off as a total B word. Unlike Brit here, who is awful. And you'll see why I think that very shortly. Let's look at our comments. Okay. So that's who we're going to be concerned with today. And we're really going to be very informal about it. This is literally just a Bilbo running down the path screaming, I'm going on an adventure. This is just an exploration of the coverage and a little bit, enough context about the Resilient Jenkins so that you understand who they are and why they're being talked about so freaking much. So let's start with their Facebook, honestly. Let me just, because they started out on TikTok, and something sort of important to understand about Stephanie and the way she approaches content is that she is constantly and forever, even before she went viral, talking about how much she wants followers, how much she wanted to be a content creator, how much she really wished that people would just follow her. And let me just say, as someone who does create content, as someone who does work within the sphere of online work, it's kind of important that y'all understand that you can't just be like, I want to go viral. In fact, you don't want to go viral. Like, if you're really wanting to make money online, virality is completely anathema to steady, consistent paychecks, right? Going viral will do you no favors. What you want is steady growth. You want to be able to create the content that you want to create. You want to be helpful and supportive to your audience as they grow. And then you really want to, like, if you're looking at like a line graph, you want it to be like a slight, you know, a curve upward. You don't want a sudden spike, because with that sudden spike, once people realize that you're not the kind of content they really want to watch anyway, they're going to stop following you. Anyway, that's not the point. That's a tangent. The point is that Stephanie's entire goal for a very long time was she wanted to go viral. And I'm going to back this up with sources here in a minute, because there's a Cursed Eye video that she shows some of these older clips. A lot of the clips that exist for Stephanie, she's either deleted or it takes forever to find them, because Stephanie, in her approach to trying to go viral and to trying to gain a massive following, she just sort of posts constantly. And so it's really hard to find all of the proof. And if y'all been around this channel long enough, you remember the Queen of Karma, Queen of Spades situation. The constant posting is a deliberate attempt to obfuscate when you do something really shitty, right? Let me make sure my mic is still working, because I just hit the thingy. We're on an adventure, y'all. Exactly, Valkyrie. You get me. I aim to never be viral and always be always be viral. Yes, exactly. Good shit. Your mic is good. Well, thank you. I appreciate you telling me, because, oh my gosh, I hit the cord and I was like, oh God. Okay, anyway. So this is the Resilient Jenkins Facebook. I have their link tree pulled up. Actually, let's look at that, because this amused me when I went to look at their link tree, which, by the way, if you're looking for a strategy to make sure that you have all of your links somewhere for your followers, Linktree is probably one of the worst options. Just have your own website, y'all. Anyway, okay, so this amuses me because, again, like I said, her entire goal is to create content, and not even good content, just like, she's very much quantity over quality, right? So her goal is to create a whole lot of content, and her goal is also to just get a lot of followers, because she equates followers to a paycheck. And that's not how the internet works, but that's fine. So when you go to her link tree and you click on her links, this opens up. Let's see if it'll actually open for me. This opens up with, oh yeah, confirm channel subscription. Are you sure you want to subscribe to Resilient Jenkins? So she's got it set. And it's like that with another one of these links too. She's got it set to where, excuse me, she is automatically trying to get people to subscribe, which is bonkers. That's bonkers. Don't do that, y'all. Because even though YouTube does a consent check for this, or a opt-in like this, not all websites do. This is not a valid strategy to growing your following. It's kind of shady, actually. So yeah, so when you do that, I'm gonna hit cancel. I don't want to subscribe to her. When you go to TikTok, follow on TikTok. It doesn't even take you straight to her TikTok. It just says follow on TikTok. And I'm not gonna do that. Facebook, we're already on Facebook. I'm not gonna follow or subscribe because I don't hate myself. And Instagram. This is her Instagram. And this is where she mostly posts reels and stuff. Just from a business standpoint, this pisses me off. The Resilient Jenkins, Stephanie Lynn, 655 posts, about 46,000 followers, and she's only following about 237 accounts. Now, that amount of followers is exactly Exactly my point. This is why you don't want to go viral. She went viral for the wrongest reasons, right? She went viral because of her, uh, how do I say this without sounding like a complete asshole? She went viral because she wants to remain in poverty so badly, right? So she got a massive following around last September, last October. Horrible. Horrible. So she went viral, got a whole bunch of hate watchers and like a very small amount of um very small amount of actual supporters, which actually pay her money, which is kind of insane. So yeah, she posts her reels over here. She doesn't really post. I'm not logging in. You can't make me log in. We're not going to look at her Instagram because I refuse to log in to her thing. We will look at some of the videos that they have on the Reddit snark thing. And we're going to be watching some of Cursed Eye's coverage, and we will watch some of Radiant Brit's coverage, and you'll see why I'm pissy mostly. So, again, that's these people. We are going to have to log into TikTok to see rights and right stuff. This person in particular, again, how do I say this without sounding hella bitchy? She inserted herself in the situation when she didn't need to, and it made a huge mess, and she may have made things worse in general for that family and for, in my opinion, this is not the general consensus. In my opinion, I think that she actually made things worse for not only the Jenkins, but those kids. And I know we're not going to talk too much about the kids, but in the grand scheme of things, the true victims here are those children. There are 6 children affected by Drew and Stephanie. And this lady inserted herself in dealing with this kiddo. So she originally, for a long time, she was like a supporter of Stephanie. And then she decided to hop on the bandwagon to support Desiree in getting custody of this kiddo from Drew, because this kid lives with Drew. And we're not going to talk too much about these two, or this kiddo, because their privacy should be maintained. And too many people are digging into this. And it's because of people like her and her that people are even reaching out. And there's a couple other smaller creators on TikTok that are also causing problems. One reason that I really like Cursed Eye's coverage is because for a very long time, she would not name sources. She would be very journalistic in her way of saying, a source close to the situation told me this. And I would much rather that be the case, followed up by redacted screenshots or something, than roping in people like her, where she would get on a TikTok live or to just make like a 10-minute TikTok video airing every single bit of information regarding the case with Drew's middle son, right? There's no reason for a woman who, I'll get to it, but she basically pretended to be a court advocate, acted as a court advocate, and then aired information about the case relating to a minor online for tens of thousands, potentially even hundreds of thousands of people to see. That's bullshit, and she should not have inserted herself in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, we're going to talk about that, but I'm going to have to log into TikTok to show you her videos, and that really sucks. I hate TikTok, guys. So, you can do that. Can do what? I missed it. I wasn't even looking. I'm doing that even though my links are never used. So, do you have a link tree? Is that what you're telling me? Girly pop, get with me, and I will help you create a website that you don't have to use someone else's real estate to have all your links in one place. Hi. Oh, hi, Cal. Been drowning in research. You know what? There are a lot of ways to drown, but drowning in research is probably my favorite. I love research. Hi, Cal. I'm a sub, and in case I fall out, I'm a replay. Oh, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. I do have a link tree I never use. Okay. Well, I will teach you a better way, a more superior way. No offense to the people who do use Linktree. It's just not the best idea. There's a lot of reasons for that, but basically it all boils down to you want to own the land you land on, right? You do not want to have someone else own your internet real estate. Does that make sense? Anyway, teach me your ways, sensei. That's, you know what's funny? Like right now, because I finally have time, I actually launched this month my business that helps people do this shit. So I can teach you, and I'll even teach you for free because I like you and you've done art for me. So it's a trade. Okay, so I don't want to look at her thingy yet. Okay, we're gonna go to Resilient Jenkins Snark because again, I want to lay a little bit of foundation in terms of the coverage we're doing. Why? So we're gonna look at this because this lady is bonkers. We're gonna look at this. First, let me just show you the ridiculousness this is. Sort by new. So, as all snark groups are, this one in particular covers Resilient Jenkins overall. There's a lot of people who have subbed to her and they pay for the privilege every month of being able to take screenshots of the private Facebook group and stuff like that to things like this. So it's mostly just a bunch of archiving, which we're all familiar with archiving over here. We've had to do it. Oh, go back to my comments. I see comments. I know the link tree. Yes, it's horrible. The tree of links. I got M60 to make membership only videos on the tech side of being a creator, like how to archive without a third party website because I'm an idiot who wants people to hold my hand. You know what? Everybody has knowledge gaps and everyone has shit they just don't want to do. You know, like I really like having a website and I really like building websites. I don't want to code my website, so I use themes and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. I am the link axe that speaks for the link trees. You're silly. I like having the cal. Yeah, that's pretty great. Cal and Val. Anyway, so we're archiving. We are doing the archives over here on the Facebooks. Cursed Eye is the one of the creators that we're going to talk about, and she is also pretty active in this subreddit. I think she might even actually be one of the mods. Yep, she's one of the mods. So yeah, so we're going to look at. Someone asked 3 months ago, which so it's recent enough that it's helpful. I know this might be a lot of work, but is it possible to get the most general rundown of the key dramas? The rabbit hole is so deep, I don't know where to begin. For real though, and that was 3 months ago, and shit has popped off in a big way since then. So, oh my gosh. So, Cursed Eye commented, I'll try my best. So 2015, pregnant Stephanie married a sex offender. That would be Jeremiah. 2018/19, she leaves the sex offender, Jeremiah, after her mom calls CPS. I do believe this is a disputed fact, so I don't have proof to back this up. It's basically just off of what Stephanie's mother has said. CPS gives her a choice, leave husband or lose kids. She chooses kids and moves in with her mother. Her mother tries to help Stephanie divorce the husband. Divorce initiated by Jeremiah. This is really important, and this is something that gets talked about a lot right now because Cursed Eye just dropped a video like a week or two ago about the divorce. Because Stephanie is still married to this guy. He's in prison. He's serving time for sexual crimes against minors. She's still married to him. Even though he has filed, and there is proof of this, he did file for divorce. She has refused to sign. And now she's living with another man. This causes a whole lot of problems because in some states, like if you were in Kentucky, I don't know what it's like in Washington and Oregon where they have bounced back and forth. But like if you're in Kentucky and you have a child that is biologically someone else's, but you're married to a different man, that man is legally the father. You have to go to court to untangle that snarl, right? It's just an automatic thing. It's kind of a pain in the ass, actually. So let me check comments. Y'all are constructive, genuinely. I love an OG timeline. Like, they are so helpful, especially if you're like someone new getting into the thing. Because like I've been following the Resilient Jenkins stuff since before they went viral, because she came across my feed and I was like, well, what the fuck is all this then? And I've just been following her nonsense ever since. It's a little bit crazy. So yeah. So the sex offender here that Cursed Eye is referring to is Jeremiah. And so mom tries to help Stephanie divorce Jeremiah. Divorce is initiated by him. In 2019, he wasn't arrested yet when he started initiated a divorce. 2019, Jeremiah is arrested for kidnapping and a minor. He's sent to prison. Stephanie stops trying to get divorced. Although it just did recently come out that she was never trying to get divorced. In December 2021, Stephanie and Drew met on Facebook. They met in person somewhere early 2022. Around the same period, Desiree, who is the father or the mother of Drew's middle son, she's still in the picture. Stephanie feels threatened by this. In March of that year, Stephanie moves in with Drew and his son into his one bedroom. She's pregnant immediately, but then she miscarried the next month. She does go... In those days, Stephanie was talking a lot about how hard she was trying to get pregnant. And there's clips where Stephanie's talking about how no one understands what it's like because she just wants so desperately to get pregnant again. It's pretty bad. She should not be getting pregnant when you have 3 children and 2 adults in a 1 bedroom, and the children don't even have a bedroom to speak of, or a bed. Anyway, Stephanie did succeed in getting pregnant in 2022. She also videoed herself smoking pot throughout that entire pregnancy. I will not, in this video, comment too much on the drug use because it doesn't matter. Stephanie has admitted to smoking pot. People call her methane. They accuse her of doing harder drugs than marijuana. It's immaterial to the coverage except for what the coverage is. So just know that's a criticism of hers. So in October 2022, Stephanie allegedly hit Drew's son hard enough in the eye to cause a black eye that Desiree, his mother, tries to get emergency custody, and then it wasn't... The court basically said, no, this is not an actual emergency. No. In 2022, Stephanie complains about her family not being supportive of her, even though, like, why would they be supportive of these choices so far? Anyway, March 2023, she gives birth to this kid. Where are we at? And then this just details all of the stuff that we have seen her post videos about so far. 2023, she talks a lot about poverty. There's videos where she's talking about how the kids are constantly getting lice. At this point, she has like 4 cats that are flea infested. The children during this entire time are sleeping on the floor in a flea and lice infested home. She sad fishes about her kids not having presents or whatever. Yeah. So let's see. Some of this stuff is irrelevant to what I'm trying to talk about. Oh, she got pregnant with her youngest in June of 2024. In October of 2024, they go viral for making their kids sleep on the floor in the living room while they take the bedroom, cluing in Arlita and Desiree to where they are and what's going on. Arlita, again, is Drew's oldest son's mother, and Desiree is his middle son's mother. Drew hadn't, at this point, allegedly, had not been answering phone calls, hadn't been going to court when he was ordered to go to court. And later they did go to court about the custody thing, and he admitted to just not answering the door when Desiree would come by to see her son. Their living situation appalls people, quote, says Cursed Eye. 4 kids, 4 cats, 2 adults, fleas, lice, bedbugs, drug use. We asterisks on that. Drew also had child support court with Arleta. He lies and says he has a job and will start paying. Because he, and this is one of the things we're going to talk about. Technically, he did have a job. He was doing gig work. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Let's check comments because I see notifications. Oh, is Kel, that's Keldoge, right? They have an interesting vibe. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's an old patriarchal bullshit thing that just needs to stop. Like, oh my God. Actually, can you tell me, because you're in Oregon, right? This family is in Oregon presently. They're in Portland. They Stephanie Jenkins was previously living in Washington for a time. In Oregon, is that the case? Like, if the mother has a child, is the father auto listed if they're married? Like, does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making any sense. I know Kel will go on for like 7 hours, so I figured I'd start here. What is Kel covering tonight? I'm curious. I'm not about to risk arguing. Oh, so BRB. Y'all are good. Yeah, you have to have space for those animals. And the things that happen with those cats is just horrific. Like, absolutely horrific. Oh, sheesh. Yeah, I wasn't pleased with the cats being abandoned. They were worse than abandoned. They were abused and then abandoned, and it was really bad. I also need a list like this for Girl World. I am so confused, like, pretty much all the time. Girl World is a mess, and I just like, I don't know what an Asria is. Oh, is that Hekate's daughter or whatever? Valkyrie on the spot. So I think Washington's the auto list. Interesting. Fascinating shit, y'all. Okay. So, let me zoom in. Enhance. Okay. October. So they went viral. And then in October to November 2024, they scammed their audience with an Amazon wish list. Another ex comes out of the woodwork and reveal that Drew is a former addict. Again, that doesn't matter to me. A parent of one of Drew's middle son's school friends goes public. We're not going to show those videos because I don't want to give any more credence to finding these children. There's enough information out there, and that's really sad. December of 2024, Stephanie and Drew stopped paying rent. I actually personally think this happened before. They were evicted in January, and specifically where they were, you cannot, like, it takes a while to evict someone, right? So they had to have stopped in like November, maybe October. January 2025, eviction process is started. End of January, the baby is born in Drew's car on the way to the hospital. There is speculation that Stephanie specifically waited long enough so that she would have the baby in the car for the clout. It's possible. I just genuinely think it might have just been an accident. People are very conspiracy theory about the Jenkins. Anyway, they only stay 8 hours in the hospital before she checks out. It is speculated that she checks out against medical advice because when you have a baby, you usually are there for about 24 hours. However, that's not always the case. Sometimes if you have the baby before you go to the hospital, they don't keep you the whole time because you didn't have the baby there. So it's possible that she just didn't need to stay that long. Also, this was her 4th kid, so it is speculated that her kids were left unattended and drugs might have been in her system. Again, that is pure speculation, but there is some of the stuff that she said that kind of, because she was talking about the kids being alone and not wanting to leave the kids for long. So at this point, also, the eviction process has started, but they haven't been evicted yet. They are still in that apartment. February 2025, Drew is given the choice to leave or get an eviction on his record. He agrees to leave. He's given 3 weeks. His license was suspended for non-payment of child support. This is confirmed. He talked about it. Stephanie posted a few videos around that time about how she is in a domestic violence situation. Those videos are now deleted, but people have covered it. It'll be easy to find it. Let's see. March. This is a really sad part of the story. Like, it's sad for the kids, right? But it's also really sad for what they did to the animals. There is a video where, and I don't know, except for the possibility that she was rage baiting for views and for potential follows or for that virality she keeps chasing. I don't know why she posted this process. She posted several videos where she was basically kicking the cats out of the apartment. And she just kept talking about how, sorry, my kid texted me. They're making dinner and they were like, oh God, how much of this one thing? Anyway, where was I? Stephanie posted a whole bunch of videos about how she was kicking the cats out of the apartment. And one of the things that she talked about was how, well, they started out as strays. So I just thought that it would be better to, it's cruel to keep them inside if they really don't want to be inside, which is madness. And again, I'm going to show you all this. I'm going to show you all these clips in a minute. So, the whole cat thing was bad enough. But one of the cats, when they were kicked out, was in such bad shape that they required sort of emergency veterinary care just to be able to be okay. Some very, very kind woman went and hunted for those cats after the eviction happened so that she could get as many of them help as possible. And as far as I know, oh yeah, it says here, she does abandon them. Her mom goes public, offering her place. The kids, not the Drew. Oh, the woman named Shaylin adopted 2 of the cats. In Oregon, it is illegal to just abandon your animals. It is illegal. There's Oregon actually has some pretty cool laws surrounding animal cruelty. And Stephanie actually got a couple of fines for abandoning the cats. And then some stuff happened with Drew and his exes regarding court. And Drew faked a seizure to get out of court. This is alleged. We actually don't know if he faked the seizure, but it certainly seems like it. And then there was some talk on their profile about, or on their in their videos about leaving the state, which you should not do when you are in the middle of court proceedings. You shouldn't leave the state. It's just a bad luck. And then there's more court stuff. So my, sorry, my kid texted me again because they sent me the message. They asked how much of the sour cream to put in dinner, and then I didn't see it right away, so they just like spammed me with emojis. And then I responded all of the sour cream, and then they said that they were about to come into the live chat to bug me if I didn't respond soon. That's mean. Don't do that. Child, if you're listening, don't be coming into my live chat. They kept me around for 3 days the first round and about the same the second, but I also had false labor and they kept me overnight. When I had my first, we nearly died. So I can't really use my experience with my first giving birth there as any sort of metric because I simply do not know what it would have been like if we hadn't almost died. But with my second, we were only there one night. Like we went in at 11 p.m. I had the baby around 7:30 in the morning. And then we were there one more night after that. And then I got to go home. So it is pretty, if it's a birth that doesn't require a whole lot of extensive care. I didn't even need stitches the second time. So anyway, evicting H. 8? Oh. Evictions are hard in Oregon. Oh, okay. I see. It's a tenant sighting state. So yeah, see, my Oregon expert. The kids and the animals should have never been in the situation. Totally agreed. Oregon likes animals for real, for real. Yeah, they do. And flannel and tie dye. Oh man, yeah, Oregon is the place to go, right? Ah, okay. Um, so that's sort of the most bare bones possible, and it's done by Cursed Eye, who we will look at here in a second. The situation is madness. Sorry, my throat is very dry. It's very much a Dr. Pepper, uh, or oh my god, I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Dr. Pepper cures everything, is what I was gonna say. Anyway, so there's that. We will come back and talk about the rights and rights thing. This, oof, yeah, that whole situation is bonkers. Anyway, so let's close that because we're not. Oh no, we're not. We won't close that yet. Okay, so first, I just want to um talk about. I haven't even watched this. Stop. I haven't watched this yet. This was members only when it first came out, so I haven't watched it. But oh boy, I mostly want to show because it's important to me to show the coverage differences. So we're going to look at Resilient Jenkins's coverage, and then I want to show you the way that Radiant Brick covers the situation because that woman is bonkers. Oh, what did I say, kid? Dr. Pepper cures everything, says the Texan. LOL. Bye bye. I'm going back to making dinner. Thanks, kid. Love you. My God. We like it here. Or I like it here. Washington has a lot of similar vibes and better education, though. Yeah, because y'all have to battle against that massive rural region in like the southeast, like Clackamas County. Those people, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. You're allowed to make fun of me for not pronouncing Oregon words correctly. Anyway, yeah, they have. It's bonkers. There's so many like MAGA people in Oregon. Anyway, so where was that video? I want to talk about the cat thing. Oh my god. All right. I don't want to watch a 24-minute thing. I'm going to show you how Cursed Eye is covering this, and I will tell you why I like it and what I disagree with a little bit. Actually, this is a really short video. We'll do this one. Oh. So I would pronounce, sorry, Val distracted me. I got Clackamas right. Now say, okay, all right. Honestly, just Willamette and Tillamook, like that's the only way I can think of to pronounce either of those words. There are plenty of weird names on the East Coast. There are plenty of weird names here in Texas. Like I bet I couldn't get y'all to say this right. Oops, if I can even spell it right. Godspeed with this one. Or that one. This one always trips people up too. Anyway, let's see. So we're gonna watch this little 5-minute video, and we may not watch all of it, about the cat Milo that was found. Yeah. Oh my god, kid keeps texting me. Yes, please. Trying to bring me supper. Ugh. Shh. I don't want your ads, bro. Don't renew. Oh my God, no. I like hit play before I could like settle it in, and then the kid came into the room, so. Okay. Uh, you'd be surprised how many people say Willamette and Tillamook. Isn't it Tillamook? Or are you saying Tillamook? Willamette. Dude, I, oh my gosh. I, in Indiana, this is how you pronounce this Versailles. This is Versailles, okay? But in Indiana, they pronounce it Versailles. I'm not kidding. Accent not Versailles. You can't say it Versailles. They laugh at you. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? For the record, this is pronounced Nacogdoches, and this is pronounced Bernie. Texas has some weird cities. Anywho, let me see if I can fix this because I had issues with this before. And I always fuck up my. Let me. How very Indiana. Okay, so you said that there was no audio or no video, because I'm seeing the video. It's showing me that you have video. Hold on. Let's try again. Yeah, it's not having me do that. It's not giving me the option again. So that's weird. Maybe, oh my God. I even remembered to use Chrome this time, y'all. I even remembered. Let me try this. Present. Nope. Wrong one. Screen. Share screen. Also share tab audio. That's what I said to do. There we go. Maybe that worked. All right. Now tell me if you can hear it.
If you cannot handle animal neglect, click out of this video right now, because it's gonna be bad. I also want to thank Shaylin on TikTok who found him, and also Sophie, who is also still working to find Onyx, and everyone else who has reached out.
Woohoo!
Everyone, Miss Heather Beer, sorry if I mess up your name. This is not scripted. This is just. I just wanted to get the word out as fast as possible that Milo has been found. I've left comments with Shaylin about Milo, what can be done, what could we do to help him, but it's bad. It's bad.
So I'm gonna see if I can get her. See if she will trust me enough to grab her. There she is. Hi, kitty. Hi. Oh, poor baby.
Lots of people have been reporting it. The Resilient.
I 100% skipped the part where you just see basically an injured, sick cat. We're just going to go to the coverage part of that because no one wants to see this. I will, for those of you who might want to see it, I'm just going to pop this into the link for y'all to watch later. I do not want to watch this poor kitty be horrible and injured. Anyway. It's okay.
Obviously, OHS has been alerted. Lots of people have been reporting it. The Resilient Jenkins have been reported. It won't be long before they're found. Wherever they're currently living, I'm sure they'll be found soon enough. My heart is broken. How anyone could do this to a living being. If they can do that to animals, what can they do to their children? You know what I mean? I know that's like a doom and gloom, you know. Anyway, as you can see by the video footage that I'm going to throw up on the screen of what Milo looked like before versus what he looks like right now. He is malnourished, he's starving, skin condition. I don't know if it's mange, I don't know what it is. I'm not a vet. I am a video game writer, but it's clear why Stephanie didn't take the offers that many people gave to them to take these cats. It's because they would have seen this and she would have got fucking reported real hard. And I hope that Oregon, that Portland throws the book at them for this. They took that cat and they threw him out. They left him. It is obvious that
Okay. And we're not going to watch that clip because it's awful. Genuinely terrible situation. Genuinely awful. The thing I like about the way that Cursed Eye covers things, and we're going to look at her coverage of something else that Radiant Brit also covered in a second. But the thing that I like, even though that was definitely hyper dramatic, she definitely sounded like she wasn't genuinely that choked up about it. But I like, again, I can't, like, what am I going to say?
Imagine being able.
Stop ads. God, I hate ads. Anyway, I like that she frames things about their actions. There are no, she asks questions. So like, instead of just being like, obviously if she can abuse her animals, she's definitely beating her kids or whatever. No, she's like, if this is how a person treats their animals, how is she treating these children? And that is a question that I think is valid. And I think that that is an interesting framing of the topic, rather than just being like, obviously this woman is beating or abusing her children, right? Now, oh, I see comments. Hassan shocking his dog yesterday. Like, Hassan Piker? I mean, let's be for real, not much will probably happen. If it does, it's because they'll stack on other crimes. We do love a question. We do. Also, there's another video where they actually do have to face consequences. They got a fine. They got fined. And they also were told they can't have any cats. They can't have any pets for like 2 years. So. Why is he shocking a dog? Do I want to know? Like, was this like a malicious thing or was this like an accidental thing? Do I want to know? But also the way that it appears that the way that it works in Oregon is if like if you get that temporary suspension on being able to have animals, and you violate that or you abuse animals again, you can lose your ability to ever have animals in Oregon, which I think is really cool, and I wish all states had that. It's been covered by so many people, says Calypso. Let's be really, really honest here. I barely have time to check my Discord, let alone cover shit. And I actively avoid Hassan Piker in general. So, like, anything about him, I probably would have seen his name and gone, no thank you. I appreciate the idea, but no. Okay. So, I also appreciate the framing of these are this person's actions that I don't like. There is no ad hominem. I mean, there's some ad hominem occasionally from Cursed Eye, but largely it's about their actions. It's largely about who they are and what they're doing, right? Well, let's see if I can find the other. There was another video I couldn't find it earlier. She might have taken it down, so I might have to pick it back up. Doo-doo-doo. It was really early. See, this is from a long time ago because Stephanie was rage baiting domestic violence. And Cursed Eye around that time was like, you need to get out and you need to like save yourself and your kids. But then it turned out to be rage baiting nonsense. Potentially it could have been legitimate, but we can't tell because Stephanie does this thing where she rage baits about something and then she's like, I was just testing y'all. Oh yeah, this. I'll just show y'all a little bit of this.
Fine, but
No. I hate ads. Am I going to pay for YouTube Premium? No.
2,000 views. Ain't none of my videos ever getting views like that. So tell me why I gotta talk some shady shit lies about my man for y'all to pay attention.
Today we're talking about the Resilient Jenkins and a recent claim of emotional abuse that Stephanie made in this TikTok. Where she wrote in the video caption, making the breakfast I know he'll eat because if I don't, he won't eat, and it'll somehow be mine or the kid's fault. Also, yes, the eye is back for this video. Now, obviously, this TikTok resulted in a massive wave of angry concern, including from me, as it was unclear if this was truly rage bait or an actual cry for help. Then, because of course there's a then, while I was asleep, because the Resilient Jenkins are on the West Coast, Stephanie left this comment on Facebook and this comment on TikTok where she wrote, "So, I was really trying something strategic with this post. I will make a follow-up post tomorrow, but please understand that the caption was merely a rage bait to show how easily people judge." Oh, I'm sorry, what's that? You faked DV for rage bait? Yeah, that's super messed up. Anyway, while we waited for this update to come, I couldn't get past the part where she wrote on Facebook that everyone's concerned outrage made her quote-unquote stomach turn, as 98% of the comments she got on Facebook were of concern for her and her kids' well-being. What is so stomach-turning about having thousands of women, including those who don't like you, express empathy? What's so horrible about that? Apparently, everything. Fortunately, or unfortunately I guess, Stephanie would provide us with the answer to that in her update video, where she explained that she did this on purpose to test her audience.
This post was a strategic post on my part.
Specifically, Stephanie says that she was inspired by content that she had seen from women who were in abusive situations.
Recently, I've been having a lot of couples pop up in my algorithm that have these like quote-unquote couple issues going on.
Situations that she believes are faked for views.
And I can tell it's like staged on their part. And I don't mean to be judgmental, but
including situations that just happened to happen within the same 24 hours as her decision to claim rage bait.
I know you're probably in the dark about what's going on. I know that you've seen the screenshots about the post he put up after the live stream a couple days ago. A lot of you have asked what happened in that live stream. Well, I started the day with just doing a live stream of cleaning this whole entire mess. This was actually the day it happened, right before it too. So like I spent all day doing all of this whole entire room. And as I'm nearing the end of it, it's about 2 o'clock or near 2. He comes in and scares me just out of the blue. And I like kind of scream because I'm startled. And he's like, "You need to get this live off."
So what did our little stoner decide to do in this version of events? Because we'll get to that in a bit, about whether or not this is even true. Stephanie says that she decided to fake emotional abuse to see how many people are following her to see her relationship with Drew crumble. What?
And I feel like it was because the general population of those new followers are people that are like, okay, I want to watch this couple fall apart. And it just had my gut off. I was like, is that really how people think? And I started wondering like how many people are following me and Drew for that very reason.
Now, if we take this at face value, if we were to believe her and agree that this is 100% what happened, that is supremely fucked up. Because not only did Stephanie state outright that the other women posting content like this, that includes their DV situation.
You guys saw what I was going through with him in my videos. Paying all of the bills.
Yeah. So I I hope that it's like it's obvious why I like Cursed Eye, right? I feel like the way that she puts up her content, she puts up the evidence for what she's saying, she dates things. Like, God, she's organized. Okay. And I appreciate that so fucking much. I the same cannot be said for Radiant Brit. And let me just show you. So first of all, this lady's voice is like the most obnoxious thing I think I've ever heard in my life. But well, that's not true. That's not true. There's more obnoxious things. Nails on a chalkboard, slightly more obnoxious. Um, the sound my neighbor makes when he's trying to fix his engine for the fourth time in a month, and it makes that sound, you know? Yeah, that. Anyway. Oh my God. Pray for me all. Okay.
Hey, you
So
guys.
here's the problem with Radiant Brit. She is entirely ad hominem. She adds nothing to the conversation. She doesn't provide as much evidence to back her claims. She just repeats the same thing over and over again. She does this thing where she like supposes that various scenarios or whatever with zero evidence to back her claim at all. And y'all know how I hate a bitch who won't back her claims or cite her sources or anyway. I first came across Radiant Brit when I came to YouTube in the first place. She had done a video about the Kimberlea situation, and her shitty coverage of the Kimberlea situation is honestly why one of the reasons I started making content, because I was like, it cannot be that hard to like just be an honest, decent human being. No, because even with the Kimberlea situation, and if y'all don't know what that is, I can put my video about that back up. But the Kimberlea did not deserve the hatred she got, right? She deserved to be critiqued. She deserved to have the commentary about her, but she did not deserve vitriol. And Radiant Brit's brand is vitriol. Vitriol while she and like she used to do these videos where she would be driving while like filming herself talking, and that is just so dangerous and stupid and selfish. I have feelings. I'm sorry. Brit reminds me of one of those nice to your face mean girls. Yes, like exactly. She is so mean, and like there's no reason to be mean. First of all, she's not a mom, right? She talks about that a lot. She's not a mom, so she'll say stuff like, "Well, I just don't know because I'm not a mom. Maybe y'all can correct me." She doesn't mean that. She doesn't want to be corrected. She wants people to tell her, "No, you're right. I'm a mom, and I agree wholeheartedly." Golf clap. Like, shut the Valkyrie. I remember you talking about her. Yeah, I dislike her strongly. GRB. What's GRB? I don't know acronyms. I'm sorry. I'm useless. Okay, let me find the. I haven't watched this video yet, but there's another video where she's talking about. Is this it? Okay, cover that. I think this is the video that really pissed me off recently. Let's find out.
What if you can create your own website?
Don't use Wix, y'all. Sorry. Just don't use it. It's stupid.
We're here with an update on the Resilient Jenkins. This is going to be infuriating for some people because I feel like a lot of my community reacts the same way to certain content. And this really got me heated today, but we're going to go over it. This is going to be a short but very important update on this TikTok family, which I'm going to label one of the worst sets of parents on TikTok that I've ever come across, and I've seen a lot on social media. But either way, we're going to go over it, what's going on, and talk about it. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so let's go over it. This video is going to be on my Resilient Jenkins playlist. If you're confused as to who is this family, why am I talking about them, please, if you have the time, check out that playlist. It will give you a really good rundown as to why they're going viral, especially over on TikTok right now. This photo from Halloween, which was not even 2 weeks ago, popped up. And she shared her kids in their costumes. You know, typically Halloween is a really fun time of year for children. They get to dress up and get creative with their outfits, and it's usually a really good time. I want to point out specifically.
This is not the video I was looking for, but we're going to watch it anyway because I don't think I watched this one. Oh, step parent favoritism. Oh yeah, this is not the video that I was thinking of, but yeah, let's carry on.
Specifically, her two daughters, look at their shoes. I'll throw it right here. And her stepson, which is Drew's son, look at his shoes. I said in a recent video that on their Amazon wish list, there were so many things for the baby, the toddler, the girls, the adults, and there were only a few things that would be for this boy. And I think that this confirms my suspicions as to why I was seeing that. A lot of other people were seeing the same red flags. This boy is not being treated as an equal. He is not being cared for the way that technically her children are. He is being treated as a stepchild. And to see the state of his shoes, and then to think that this child went to school and might have been bullied for.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it here because I'm already annoyed. First of all, let me just real quick go back. Look at their shoes. Okay, those are dirty. One of them is black. You can't really tell. These are really dirty. These are supposed to be like white and pink, right? And then we're gonna
stepson, which is Drew's son.
Come on now.
Look at his shoes.
Yep, those are shoes. Those are shoes that are torn up because even if Stephanie wants to be living in poverty, it doesn't change the fact that they are materially within the realm of poverty, right? Those are decent enough shoes that are in one piece. Like when I was a kid, I didn't always have shoes that were in one piece. Like soles would be coming off, and like it was like twice a year that we went to Payless to replace our shoes. But when you go to a place like that where shoes are cheaper, they don't last as long. Those shoes look relatively okay. They're dirty. And I don't understand the nitpicking here. There is a lot to be said about the Resilient Jenkins. I do think that there is some favoritism in regard to the children. I do think that Stephanie has some questionable parenting methods, especially when there's that time that she admitted that she is a proponent of quote unquote 90s parenting, spankings and such. So and like right now, my shoes look like shit because I make sure that my kids have nice shoes. Like I get me shoes after. Like I've made sure the kids have shoes. Anyway, let me look at my comments. Oh, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Yeah, she's being really weird with that shit. She needs to calm down. I don't love the comparing shoes. Some might have been more comfortable or match the costume more. I hope that's not the only evidence. It really is, though. We're like, there's literally nothing else. I still sometimes don't have shoes that are in one piece. I'm an asshole. We're just dicks, Val, for not having shoes in one piece. And I'm sorry, this is a little boy who's being raised as a little boy. He's going to be harder on his stuff because he's running around more. Kids who are raised mask tend to have a very specific upbringing, a very specific childhood. This kid is out there climbing trees and shit. Are those little girls allowed to climb trees? Probably not. I mean, my parents were constantly telling me to stop climbing trees, but my brother, he could climb trees. Anyway. All God's children have shoes, my grandpa. That's cute. Yeah, I am seeing no. Oh, was that evidence? Was that evidence? What's this?
That is walking around absolutely zero reason why she should be, look at my new kitchen aesthetic, while you have a child.
Those things cost like 98 cents a piece at IKEA. Some of those look thrifted. I mean, again, I'm not here to defend Stephanie, but I am here to be like, bro, there's actual issues here. And you're talking about the fucking dishes? Dude, okay, Britt not being a parent, maybe she doesn't understand. Kids go through a lot of shit in a day, right? My teenagers, they use less dishes than they used to, but still by the end of the day, every single dish in the house is dirty. Like when they were little, we had so much plastic shit because my oldest is autistic, would throw shit around. Like it's just nicer when plates aren't breaking and stuff. And so you want extras of stuff. Why is this a problem to this lady? Oh my god. Oh my god. Sorry, I had to burp, so I had to mute it. Okay, let's see what else. What else are you gonna bitch about, Britt? Before I go on to the video that I actually wanted to watch. Look at her, she's so angry. And for what? She just needed content. That's my problem with Britt. She just needed content. The issue is like the kids don't have a bed. At this point, this is 10 months ago. This is November 14th, 2024. At this point, the kids don't have a bed. Okay? That is something to talk about, but here's my theory for Britt specifically. You can't just talk about how the kids don't have a bed over and over and over again. So she looks for shit to bitch about because she wants to be able to have a content. She wants to be able to drive views to her channel. And when I found her, she only had like 14,000 subscribers. She gets views off of this because people are petty. I mean, I'm petty, but you know. Okay. So let me see if I can find the actual video. I'm going to go to her actual channel because I don't think she put this video in the playlist. Oh, God. Let's see. I wish I'd pulled it up. Because there was this one video where she's going off about... oh, of course. Of course. Never mind. I get it. I get it now. Anyway. Very neglectful update. No, I don't think that was it. There was something where she was pissed off because the kids were like running around in a circle or something. She's like literally bitching about how... Where is it? Her coverage of this was stupid, by the way. Like people hating on this mom are driving me nuts. They're just like, shut up. This is a hard watch. Is this the one? This might be the one.
Google Play
Oh my gosh.
Points unlocks a world.
I don't want your ads, bro. I need to put my ad blocker back on here.
We're here with what I personally think might be one of the saddest videos that Stephanie Thompson from the Not So Resilient Jenkins has ever posted. I listened to this video once and then I went back and actually watched it and paid attention, and I had so many more thoughts, but we're just going to throw a couple of other random updates about them in this video. And yeah, we're going to talk. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so I have thrown a few different things together for this reaction, but y'all will know when we get to the part where this video, it's just so sad to see what her toddler was doing in this motel room. This poor child has been just really failed and not given any kind of positive kind of footprint to follow. No positive or even neutral interactions with his parents.
I will say this video started out so strong. She's not wrong here. This poor kid, all of these kids are being failed, right? But wait until you see why. Wait till you see Oh my gosh. Sorry, my throat makes weird noises sometimes. Anyway, just wait. Just wait. You would think that maybe she's about to talk about how the kid hasn't been able to start occupational therapy yet, or maybe she's about to start talking about how, oh, because I didn't mention this earlier, the youngest boy, um Stephanie is sure that he's autistic. He's about 2.5, 3 years old, I think, maybe just under two, and he's still nonverbal. And this is obviously can be a concern. This is why you rope in doctors. This is why you get diagnostic stuff done. But anyway, maybe, the medical neglect, maybe that's what we're going to be talking about here. No, just wait.
But let's start at the top. The first thing that I have saved, somebody shared on TikTok the income guidelines. The table below gives a general idea of the amount of money that most people or families can earn, and this is in their county in Oregon. For a family of 7, they can earn up to $7,890. So for them to no longer be getting state assistance, you can see why this would send them into a tailspin. But we also have to remember the amount of money that they're making on social media. Drew is now allegedly working at Safeway. Like, why are we taking resources from other families that are not, well?
For the record, no one actually has any proof of how much the Resilient Jenkins are making from social media, except for Stephanie has a subscription thing, I think, on TikTok, and she has so many subscribers, and she charges like $2.99 per subscriber or something, or $5.99 per subscriber, and so that's part of what people are going off of. But then other people are basing what they think Stephanie and Drew's income is based on how many TikTok followers she has and the engagement. And there's like a calculator you can use to determine how much a specific creator is making. These are not exact sciences. These are not exact numbers. There is no way to actually know unless and you can gift subscriptions. So some of those people may not even be paying for subscriptions. You know what I'm saying? So I am, I'm a little dubious on how much people think that Stephanie makes on social media every month. I don't think she makes that much. I don't think she makes anything, really. Like, maybe enough to make sure that they have weed in the house, maybe enough to pay the car payment or whatever. I do know Drew has a W-2 job now. But God, and I think this is the video. Nope, it's not. There's another video where Britt goes off about how Stephanie constantly refers to gig work and stuff like that. And Britt talks constantly about how that's not a real job and how Drew needs to get a real job. And when I say gig work, I'm talking DoorDash, delivering for Walmart, Grubhub, stuff like that. I will say it here and now, and I'm going to say this with my full chest. If you are the kind of asshole who thinks that gig workers should, quote unquote, get a real job, I hope you never get delivery. Don't get DoorDash. Don't order people to deliver your food. Don't order from Domino's and expect them to deliver your food. In fact, if you have that opinion, fuck all the way off, because it is real work. And in fact, it's harder work for less pay, but sometimes it's the only freaking option. Source me. I am a gig worker. Okay. I work something like 15 hours a day sometimes so that I can make sure that bills are paid and etc. Because where I live, the job market is kind of shitty. And you know what the best work is? Gig work. Okay? And then it's not even, for me, Brit's covered specifically, it comes off very classist. It comes off a little bit racist. Telling a black man to get a real job as he's trying to provide for his family, you know what I'm saying? Just stop. Just stop while you're ahead. God, I hate her coverage. Anyway, we're gonna keep going on this. Oh wait, let me check comments first. I was top dasher once. Yeah, I maintained Top Dasher for almost a year. I get great freaking reviews. Okay, I am an excellent gig worker. But ha 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 dubious. That's clever. Should I cook my German sausage in butter? Is that too Pauladine? It's not Pauladine enough. I'm just kidding. We don't like Pauladine. She's a racist cow. But yeah, you should cook it in butter. My God. What shouldn't you cook in butter? That's my question. Gig work is real work. It is. Gig work is real work. And anyone who judges people for doing gig work, please, for the love of God, don't ever order in. Just don't. You don't deserve it. And honestly, I rate people who don't tip 1 star. And did you know, anyone who's watching can use this tip. If you are a gig worker and you accept an order because it has a large tip, and then the tip goes away, because like on Uber Eats and Walmart Plus, you can tip and then remove the tip. Like if it's bad service or they deliver to the wrong house or whatever. That's the spirit of the thing. That's why that exists. But if you accept an order and you do everything right, you deliver to the right house and everything, and they remove the tip, that's called tip baiting. It's a form of fraud, and you can report them to the platform and have that customer removed. Because if they did it to you, they're doing it to other people. So if it's a constant thing and enough people report them for tip baiting, get them kicked off. Fuck them. They don't deserve to have stuff brought to them if they're not going to tip properly. Just my 2 cents. Anyway, let's see this tragic update, y'all. How exciting. How exciting for this tragic update.
Well despised on social media. They should be getting these resources, not the Jenkins, who the big question at the end of the day is still, where is the money going?
My mom's the type of person who lacks accountability for her actions, and when called out, generally her response is no different than, I'm only human. Especially these lives that she got up on and spoke things about me that weren't even accurate, lies that aren't even true about me. You could have sat there and defended what you know about me as a person, but you chose to be on their side.
So instead of looking at the situation like we're calling everything into question that Steph's mom has said, the same could be held to you. Those same truths, those same questions and concerns could be said to you. So you're telling people to believe you and not believe your mother. Now, this is the video that really is just a lot to take in. She posted this hangout with this mom of 5, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And she is in the kitchen cooking bacon with grease popping all over the place, holding her infant, which before we get into this video, I also want to say her infant is following in the same footsteps as the toddler is. They do not talk to this baby. They do not encourage this baby to talk. They do not do anything aside from carry the baby around on her hip. I worry that this child is going to be her toddler in a few years and also be non-verbal.
For context, this was posted August 14th. The baby was born late January. Baby's about 8 months old. I am unclear how Britt thinks she knows that they don't talk to the baby or encourage the baby to talk. It just doesn't, like, you don't know. This is supposition. This is not anything she's able to prove.
Verbal, fighting her own battles. The text on the screen says, butthurt because I seem to be the one that likes to put this away clean. The kids have been cooking. I love that for them, but they don't like cleaning up after. Why are your children cooking with no adult supervision? Because if there was adult supervision while they're cooking, then you could guide them to also clean and also put things away properly. Children should not be in the kitchen unsupervised in a motel shelter while you're distracted with carrying this baby around. Poor little toddler is roaming around looking into darkness outside. And then you've got these 2 kids in the kitchen cooking unsupervised.
Again, how does she know it's unsupervised? No one said it was unsupervised. And also, her Stephanie's oldest children are like 9 and 10. They're around 9. They're like just before preteen, right? That's the perfect time to start teaching kids how to cook and stuff. So of course they should be in the kitchen. Of course they should be learning how to do stuff. And I'll give it to Britt. She's right. It is the perfect time to teach them how to clean up. Like, you clean up as you cook, right? But why is she assuming that they're unsupervised? That's weird. Like, no one said that. Prove it.
kind of just gotta go for it. Because this roof was in on the counter. Oh, this flip makes me so dizzy.
So they're working on getting a high chair. They are working on getting a high chair. When they have all of these little kitchen gadgets, Drew has his PS5, they have all kinds of things like, buying clothes that the kids really don't need, because if you would repurpose and recycle the clothes that they have, then you would not have literal mountains of laundry that you then have to figure out how to wash and dry. You're working on getting a high chair. Let's do some quick research. There is a high chair here from Ricolo Baby Basics for $25.99. There's also one at Walmart for $36. There's another one from Target for $64. Why are we working on that? Y'all are making money on social media. Drew is now working. Y'all have said that your finances aren't the issue. Your finances are not the thing that's holding you back from getting into a house and out of the shelter. But you're working on getting a high chair. Make it make sense.
Big games.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand the gripe about that. Like, I don't even know that if I had another baby that we would do a high chair. I hated it. I hated the high chair. It drove me nuts. And also, again, this just seems nitpicky. Some of what she's saying is valid criticism. Like, you do have a little bit of money. You should be buying a high chair if that's something you're wanting to do. Working on it seems strange, but I don't know. Oh, I see the comment. This is giving me Malice chiming in on Carly's parenting. Right? Like, oh, there go my neighbors with the loud music. Good job, guys. You still suck. Anyway, yeah, this is very, like, why is this the thing you're commenting on? And also her complaint about the bacon. It sounds loud because of the mic, but it doesn't look like it's like smoking or anything, which means that it's probably not popping very far. And also the conditions that she's got this baby in, where is Drew? Like, that would be my complaint. If I was reacting to this, where is Drew? And why is Drew not holding the baby while she cooks everyone breakfast? M60 says, this is Katie Joy, isn't it? No, this is that horrible jerk face, Radiant Brit covering the Resilient Jenkins. No, I don't do Katie Joy anything on that. Man, they do look similar, though. Yeah, Katie Joy could stay far away from my channel. Ugh. Oh, the other one. Valid. Anyway, my critique would be, why is Drew not holding this baby? Why is she doing all the cooking and taking care of the child? This is not a oh no, she has the baby too close to the cooking bacon. It's popping everywhere. First of all, if you don't know how to cook bacon enough that it's not popping all over the place, I don't want to eat in your kitchen. It's probably gross. Second of all, I'm going to ask this 4,000 times. Where's Drew? Not helping. He's probably on his fucking thing. Not going to lie, my son didn't have a high chair for like a week because I assumed my grandma would let me use the one she has that was mine, but alas, I was bamboozled. We had those cool little high chairs for both of my kids that weren't actually high chairs. They were just like chairs that you strapped to a regular chair, and like they were like mobile, so we could take them wherever we were going to go. I loved those things. Well, I loved one of them. I hated cleaning them, and I was always the one having to clean them, so they were a pain in the dick. But also, hi, M60. Okay. Oh, I forgot I muted it because of the ad. My bad.
What did you do? If that didn't work, what did you do? That's how life is.
For the record, that voice you hear in the background, that's Drew. Why wasn't he holding the baby? I'm just saying, father's got to do better. Ugh.
And Drew is, of course, in the background still, as he has been for over a year now, talking to his pals on his PS5. But his infant needs a high chair. If I was not somebody that was giving commentary on this dumpster fire of a situation, I would not find this content even remotely watchable. And I'm not saying it's because they're in a shelter or because she's a mom. I'm saying because it's not interesting. It's not entertaining. You're not going to hold someone's attention for over 8 minutes producing stuff like this. It needs to.
Britt's annoying and kind of a twat, but she's not wrong here. Stephanie's content is the most boring content. I don't want to watch you. I don't want to watch your backside as you're grilling toast. You know? It's not entertaining. If she was gonna like talk about, a special way that she cooked the bacon or made the toast or did whatever she was gonna do, that would be interesting and different. But instead, we're just watching a time lapse of poverty cosplay. And that's not fun.
To be quick, to the point, engaging for the audience, not.
Val, listen, I will watch your backside whenever. You can grill toast and show us your backside all you want. 7-hour live stream. Do it next month.
This. It's a weird point of view. There's just like way too much going on, but dead silence at the same time. On it, but this is why I do voiceovers. I'm going to speed some of this up because it's just silence and nothing is going on. Like she's plating food and again, not talking or not telling anyone anything. So I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. I want to get to later in the day where this heartbreaking clip is shared. Breakfast is.
Guys, we got to it. We got to the heartbreaking clip. Let's find out. Oh my God, I can't wait till y'all see what's so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. This is tragic.
Done, and now we have Steph sitting in this shelter room with her infant, which is again, as always, glued to her hip, and her toddler who desperately needs some engaging kind of activity to get his energy out. He starts just doing laps. He's running back and forth, not saying anything, just kind of yelling and trying to, express himself. But as we know, Steph doesn't know how to communicate with him because she has not done any of the work to try to communicate with him. So she's just sitting here zoned out, and she does admit that she disassociated for a moment. She says that she was thinking about phone calls or something like that. That kind of 100-yard stare is not saying, oh, I was thinking for a moment about phone calls. So she said, I was disassociated hard here, trying to plan out all the calls I want to make this week. What I need to do is fix my credit. Who has appointments? My mom brain stays planning. Maybe you should be planning to fill out a job application. Maybe you should be planning to do something better for the sake of your children. You literally have a toddler here who you have not taken to the doctor to get a proper diagnosis, and you're just allowing him to continue on this path of nothingness. And it's so sad.
So there you have it, folks. A toddler running back and forth in a room is heartbreaking and tragic. I know she's not a mom. I'm trying to have grace. I really am. Does she understand that infants do tend to just be glued to mom's hip for like the first year? That's the entire. Indigenous peoples have like literal, like invented baby carriers because babies tend to need to be attached to mom at all times, right? Okay, this is a baby that is just barely over 6 months old. And she's complaining that Steph has the baby on her hip all the time. Okay. Now let's talk about toddler running back and forth as if that's a problem. At this age, you want to be instilling the ability for a child to play on their own, and he's clearly entertained. Like, this isn't sad. He doesn't seem to. Britt says he's clearly trying to communicate. No, he's making goo goo gaga noises. He's a toddler. I'm failing to understand what's heartbreaking about this, except that she needed a quick, easy, catchy, little clickbaity title, right? Like she needed something to talk about. She needed something to nitpick so she could keep that content rolling like she's doing with the Gypsy Rose Blanchard shit. Well, somebody please think of the children. My God. I still am not good at knowing the difference between tragic and dark ninja. No, for real though. Who are they? Wait, never mind. I think I interacted with one briefly and it was horrible and I hope to never do it again. But yeah. Anyway, so that was tragic. So let's find out a little bit more about that tragicness while I take a drink.
She also says, and you're probably wrong version of but you're probably wondering why we are inside. It's too hot out. It's too hot for the kids to be playing. Keep seeing new articles about water sources and bacteria this year is whatever bacteria with the heat fluctuations, not to mention with the high volume of crowds at water spots, there is bound to be people going to the bathroom in the water. Better be safe than sorry. I get the kids outside as soon as the sun is behind the building. It's still too hot outside, blah, 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 whatever. Ma'am, literally a couple of days ago, you shared a video where your children were walking around barefoot and there was either a needle cap, a bottle cap. I don't know what it was. Many people are saying that it was allegedly a needle cap, but you're allowing them to play in those conditions, but you're worried about a water park or a splash pad?
First of all, hold up. Wait. Oh, I wish I could enhance. What? This is the kind of nitpicky dipshittery that I'm talking about in terms of coverage of the Resilient Jenkins. Like, that's not a needle cap. And if it is, it's one of the needle caps from either an EpiPen or an insulin injection pin. That doesn't, or just a regular old-fashioned. I wish I had a camera because I would show you because I'm diabetic. I'm on insulin. We have those little caps at the end to keep the plunger from depressing whenever they're in the bag and in transit and stuff. That's what that looks like. You can't do drugs with those syringes, y'all. Those are not drug syringes. Those are very useless for drugs. I had to be told this by a pharmacist actually because in my incredible anxiety when I first was put on insulin injections, I was like, why do I have to buy these from behind the counter? Like, because at my pharmacy, you can't just buy the syringes. You have to actually talk to the pharmacist and they have to give them to you. And you don't need a prescription or anything, but you do need to talk to the pharmacist. And I was like, why is this? Is it because people could use them for drugs or whatever? And the pharmacist was like, no. It's just that these are expensive and they're highly, like, these are frequently stolen by people who can't afford them. You can't do drugs with these. It's not, the needle is the wrong kind or whatever. So I know that now. That is a fact I know. But anyway, this is the kind of nitpicking that I think is freaking ridiculous. This doesn't matter. She's allowing her children to play outside. Okay? That's... Why does it matter that that's there? And then, like, in another video some other time, Radiant Brit also goes on about what looked to be a syringe or something, and then it turned out to just be like a rolled up piece of paper, and it wasn't actually anything. There are very real critiques we can levy at Stephanie Johnson, right? This is not one of them. Allowing her children to play outside. Yeah. I genuinely just think that this kind of reaction content is purely for views because it's not adding anything to the conversation. It's sensationalizing and like hate mongering about shit that doesn't matter. It's drawing attention to shit that doesn't really matter. Like, it seems obsessive to me. It seems obsessive. A needle cap? Yeah. Slurs are gross, but I grew up with the millennial retort issue. So I'm trying to counter that still. Yeah, fair. Oh, he did get booted. Good. I disappeared for a while, so I didn't even notice. Yep. Okay.
It was. Many people are saying that it was allegedly a needle cap, but you're allowing them to play in those conditions, but you're worried about a water park or a splash pad? And let's also talk about how this infant needs a new crib. We're talking about a high chair. Let's talk about new sleeping quarters, because this small bassinet is not working for this child. This infant should have a bigger space to sleep at this age. Tell me if I'm wrong down below, but it seems as if the bassinet is just, it's met its match and it needs to go. So even in this clip where she's boiling water on this hot plate or whatever, you can still continue to hear this toddler literally going out of his mind, trying to entertain himself within these four walls.
Literally going out of his mind, she says. He's making toddler noises. They're not even that intensive. One of my kids was so loud when they were a toddler. Like, this would have been a welcome respite. Okay? This is just toddler sounds. This is what it sounds like. Britt, please don't have children. Like, I don't think you could handle it mentally. They are so much louder than that all the time. And he's just running back and forth, just being a kid. Oh no! This poor, tragic, heartbreaking update on the Resilient Jenkins and the toddler who's acting like a toddler. No! She's right about the bassinet, though. The kid needs a bigger bed. Like, you shouldn't have a bassinet past like 3 months, I think, because once a baby can sit up, they can also just topple out of the thing. So, okay. I don't want to watch this particular video anymore. There was another one. Let me see if I can... But y'all understand? Okay. Like, my thing is that on the internet, there's commentary content and there's reaction content. And I think that reaction content is what, like, Brit does. She's just watching content and just being snarky and bitchy for really no apparent reason, right? And that can work. Some reaction content is some of the best content on the internet. Like, you know, those videos of like little old dudes listening to gangster rap for the first time? Those are great reaction videos. I love those. Those are awesome. More of that, please. But this kind of reaction content, it's not adding anything to the conversation. Like I said earlier, she is sensationalizing a whole bunch of shit. She is very clickbaity. She's very much trying to drive views. She's not super interested in the truth of anything of the matter. And I just don't like that. And then, like, with Cursed Eye, I really feel like she's still reaction content, right? Because she's just reacting to the content that's being made. She doesn't seem to be adding any like external third-party sources. There's no analysis. Kind of like, I don't know if y'all watch Swoop, but on her deep dives, she will show content, she will react to that content, and then she will pull from another source to like buttress her point, right? Specifically regarding criminology and psychology. She'll pull from different studies or articles and stuff. Cursed Eye doesn't do that, but I do think that she does err more on the side of commentary, because that's the difference to me. Reaction content is just reacting to the video you're watching in the moment. Commentary is literally making a comment about the content that you're watching. You're adding to the conversation. You're turning that content you're reacting to into a sort of, I don't want to say dissertation, because that's not the right word. More of a, like, my brain just blanked. Just entirely. Just totally went. Okay. You know what I'm trying to say, though. Like, it's definitely more than just, haha, let's all sit around and laugh at the poverty lady, right? Valkyrie says, I like to think I walk the line between those worlds, commentary and reaction. I really think so, because there are times that you pull up external sources to support a position, but largely, too, a lot of what you cover is opinion-based, but more than just, haha, look at this lady be crazy on the internet, right? And I think that that's where Cursed Eye gets it right, too. It's like, it's opinion-based, but she's providing, she's not attacking. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's why it's so different for me, because Cursed Eye does not spend her energy just being mean to be mean or nitpicking things that don't matter. Now, something that does sort of kind of confuse me is that Cursed Eye and Radiant Brit both seem to play off of each other's content. Like, they both recommend each other's videos. They both, hype each other up in community posts and stuff like that, which that, like, I would never be able to engage with someone like Brit. Like, parasocially, socially, whatever. And okay. I started my channel as a retired makeup artist to focus on beauty and skincare, once in a while sharing an opinion on beauty guru drama. As I realized my silly opinions were listened to and even requested sometimes, I shifted most of my content to commentary about entitled influencers, unrelatable family vloggers, and other problematic internet personalities. I've always liked sharing my unsolicited advice or comments on things, and this is my little corner of the internet where we talk about things that don't typically matter very much in the grand scheme of things, let's be honest. I like to keep options open, so along with commentary, I'll talk about other subjects and include vlogs as well, pretty much whatever I feel like publishing at the time. I don't want to sound judgy, but like, I'm hella judgy about this kind of content. Because when it comes to Resilient Jenkins, I think that the problems are like three. There's like a triangle. It's like a trifecta of bullshittery, right? I think that poverty cosplay or maintaining the state of poverty for clout is a problem. I think that family vlogging is a serious issue. And I think that drama baiting, especially in terms of relationships, is really problematic, right? So I think if you plan to have reaction content, you need to set limits on yourself early on. I think you're right. But the thing is, I think that people don't know that right out the gate, right? Because when you start a YouTube channel, you're like, I'm just going to, say my opinions or whatever. You don't know the limits that you need to set on yourself. You have to be flexible. You have to be able to be like, okay, so I went too far on this particular opinion. Maybe I shared too much. Maybe I accidentally doxed someone. I need to pull it back. I need to rein it in and change my approach, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm the crazy one here. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But I want to talk a lot about various things, especially parasocial relationships, commentary versus reaction content. I really want to talk about family vloggers in general from the perspective of a parent who used to post content about their child on the internet that y'all can't find no more. I'll tell you that. And I think that the Resilient Jenkins is a perfect case study in that. So I might cover this more going forward, specifically covering how the internet has perhaps made this worse, right? And I haven't gotten to it yet. And I want to make sure that I have the time to get to it properly, because I want to talk about rights and rights. And I want to talk about how this woman in particular made a big mess of things because she got close to someone close to the Jenkins, literally went to court with her to fight for Drew's son on behalf of this other woman, and then ended up allegedly stealing a bunch of the GoFundMe money. That, and like, I haven't seen proof of this. I have heard that said, but I have not seen proof of this. So I'm going to very, very, in all caps, asterisks on either side, allegedly stole this money, I will probably, and tonight's video is just genuinely just to be an unscripted live stream just to talk about shit. I may try and do more live streams going forward, because I am currently in a position where I don't have to work as hard as I was. I also will have free time some nights. So I don't know, maybe Friday nights I'll just go live for a couple hours and talk about random shit. I just really wanted to lay the foundation for now of what I want to talk about in terms of Resilient Jenkins, because I don't want to talk about necessarily the Resilient Jenkins. I am very, very keenly interested in the coverage of them because it's so freaking wild, you know? I talked her into streaming this, y'all. Now she can edit it down to a video she wants. Yeah, you did. Because originally I really did just, I started recording this, got 15 minutes done, and went, this is probably better as a live stream. And then I was talking to Val earlier, and I was like, I should just fucking do it. I probably won't edit this down. I'm very much in my lazy era. I do just enough on the stuff that doesn't matter. Like, this YouTube channel doesn't really matter, right? This is not something that's changing people's lives. This is not something that is very it doesn't pull my attention very often. Even though I really enjoy creating content, I really enjoy going live, I really enjoy talking to people, I don't necessarily think that all of my time should be going to this. And so, like, I was scripting videos, and like that polyamory video, I am so proud of that, but it did take me a solid like 50 hours worth of work. It took a lot. It took a lot of time and effort. And so maybe I will continue to do some some like video essays and stuff like that, but sometimes I just want to talk about the random shit that's like on my mind. And also, I mentioned this earlier, I launched my business this month. I am currently building that audience, and I am like engaging with those people more frequently, and like that takes my priority. So like, I don't know. Y'all can either hang around and watch my crazy, lazy videos, and you don't have to. You don't have to if you don't want to. It doesn't hurt my feelings any. However, before I log off, I really, really want to talk about rights and rights. Let me see if I can just. I hate TikTok. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna log in to the TikTok. If I can remember what my login is. I actually don't. Did I do it with my email? Maybe I did it with my email. Yes. Sorry, y'all can't see the screen because I don't want you to see my password. So give me a second and I'll share. Drag the slider to fit the puzzle. I'm a robot, guys. Do. Okay. No, don't show notifications. Shit. Stop it. Okay. Let's see if I can find the original rights and rights videos, because y'all have to. This was very wild to me whenever I came across this lady. Hold on 1 second. I want to. There we go. Okay. So this lady, when I was on TikTok more often, this woman just popped up randomly because I've been following the Resilient Jenkins stuff, and she was talking about how she went to court with Desiree to support her in helping to get Desiree and Drew's son, back with her, because the situation was that Desiree wasn't around a while. Drew was allegedly keeping their son from her. They didn't have a parenting plan in place, etc., ad nauseam. This is a woman who is going to school for, I think, social work. Pretty sure that she's going back to school for her master's in social work, her MSW. And that's awesome. That's grand. I love that for her, right? We need more social workers. What I didn't love was that she was talking about how she was going back to school for social work, and then also divulging information about an ongoing custody matter. I mean, and with or without the permission of one of the parents, it's unethical. Because this little boy is going to grow up someday, and he's going to be able to see all the random shit. This is a complete stranger to him at the outset of her involvement. There is no reason that she should be using his full name. There's no reason she should be talking to his mother about his mother on the internet. And then it goes beyond that too, because on TikTok, they have these live streams where Arlita and Desiree and Stephanie Jenkins' mom, or Stephanie Thompson's mom, and a bunch of other people surrounding the situation. And then also a bunch of strangers will get on a panel and they will just talk for hours about the Stephanie and Drew situation. And I think that that's only making the problem worse. All of this stuff should be handled in private. And let me see if I can find you. Like, oh my God. Is this all the videos that she's got? There's no way. Did she delete a bunch of them? Bonkers. She should not have done that. Because that makes me fussy. No reason other than that. Okay, so she's deleted a bunch of videos. But there was this issue where she and Desiree worked on getting a GoFundMe together so that Desiree could cover court costs. And then she came on here at one point to prove that the attorney's fees had been paid. Let's see. And then she went away for a while because she was quote unquote getting death threats, which we all know is not actually ever happening. Anyway, let me... which is... okay. We're not going to cover this weirdness. Okay. So this is a video where she's talking about will Drew show up to court. This is back in July. She shouldn't have been speculating openly on the internet about an open case. And I really wish that the judge would have been... I'm going to tell you, I don't know that the judge knew that she was creating this content on the internet. If the judge was, the judge probably would have told her to stop because there's no reason to be. Yeah. Okay, so let me... where is that video? She must have deleted it. This is not necessary. So some lady on TikTok came out called Drew's Side Piece, and she was talking, she had all these videos about how, these messages between her and Drew, supposedly, allegedly. I don't know that it was ever proven. And here's where it gets tricky. I don't know that it was ever proven, except that Rights and Rights came out and said, yes, I've confirmed it. That is Drew's phone number. That is who is talking to Drew. And so there was speculation for like a month about Drew cheating on Stephanie, which, first of all, who cares? Second of all, why is this woman who is purporting herself to be an advocate for this child and his mother in court talking about a cheating scandal? It was just very fishy to me. So we're just going to play this because it's weird. See if I can unmute it.
So Drew's Side Piece, I spoke to Desiree about this. I validated the phone number she had to make sure that it is the same one for Drew. And then I still wasn't 100% positive because there's ways to get people's numbers and fake text messages and all those things. So I wasn't 100% convinced. So I had this person screen record so that I could see her opening her text messages. And then she also emailed me the video because she asked me, of course, not to share her name. And I told her I wouldn't, but that is how real this person is. So, I mean, it was pretty believable with like the picture of the two fingers with his ring and it's like over the VW symbol. That was pretty telling. But anyway, so I told her if it would be helpful, I would make a video about it, that I had validated that she was using the right number. So, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think this is probably shocking to a whole lot of people, but it is what it is. Basically, I'm just here to say that it definitely is Drew's phone number. Those conversations were definitely happening. And really the goal here is to make sure that, I suppose, primarily Stephanie and anybody else who needs to trust him know that he's not super trustworthy. So there's the video where Stephanie's asking, or not asking, is talking about how he's not cheating and gives all the evidence. And I don't know that I would call it cheating. It's certainly not okay to me. I mean, every relationship has their own agreement. So maybe this is an agreement that Drew and Stephanie have. But if not, there you go. It's real. It's legitimate. So Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, she says super weirdly. Anyway, okay, let me go back. I saw a comment from someone who I had not seen before. Majority of the coverage on the Resilient Jenkins is straightforward, common sense parenting that they do not display, and that is why the coverage on them is always mean and has zero tolerance for it. That's not accurate. That's genuinely not accurate, because like I was saying earlier with the cursed eye stuff, she's very straightforward. She's very common sense. She is very, very accurate and fair in her coverage. But the coverage from Brit is just plain stupid. It's just plain mean-spirited and not in any way appropriate. Like, it just isn't. The maroon hair always scares me. Yeah, no shit. I like the malice vibes on this woman, like coupled with the psychology and the yeah, you know what I mean, Val. The side piece was proven by Stephanie because Stephanie said she talked to her, and that escalated to Drew leaving the homeless motel with a suitcase. Okay, here's the problem with unreliable narrators. Can we rely on anything that anybody is saying? Because every single person who is involved in the actual case, in the actual like daily life of the Resilient Jenkins, have all been proven to have been liars at some point or another. They are all unreliable narrators, and that's why I don't really care about the details or the minutia about the actual situation with Jenkins. What I care about is the coverage and how the coverage is making this work worse for those children. If you ignore the consent, it's legitimate. And the thing is like, I think that there has been several points where someone has talked about the side piece and how accurate or whatever. In the end, it doesn't matter. What matters here is, why was the quote unquote advocate? She did not give herself that title, by the way. I think that's important to note. She did not start calling herself the advocate. Other people did. And I don't remember who was the first person to, but people started calling her the advocate, and we're talking about her because she did go to court with Desiree. So even if she wasn't a legal representative and a legal advocate for Desiree, or like legally appointed advocate, she still advocated for Desiree for a while. I have not caught up on the latest drama with Dulcie. That's her name, Dulcie. Because a lot of stuff did come out and it was like kind of crazy. But I have been focused more on the Radiant Brit situation. So hey, how surprised would you be if I said I have 9% battery right now? I am so shocked. I am Iago. I am Iago right now. Good job, Val. Why is your phone not on a charger? What the heck? Anyway, so here's the plan. Because like I said, I am not interested in really covering the Resilient Jenkins stuff because, first of all, it's none of my business. Second of all, I'm not here to prove people right or wrong. I am just keenly interested in the coverage and how it has spiraled the way that it has. And I've been outside, obviously, she says. Oh my gosh. First of all, TikTok on its own is like hella toxic, right? TikTok is kind of a cesspool that just allows, like, live streaming on TikTok. That's where you find the weirdest shit. Who remembers the Ashley Trevino stuff? How much of that stuff happened during a live stream? And then how much of her situation got weirder or worse because of internet coverage of it? Now, journalism is one thing, right? There is a very strict ethical guideline to most journalistic endeavors. What Radiant Brit is doing is not journalism. And I'm not going to say that she's ever said that she is a journalist or that she has integrity, because I think she knows she doesn't have any integrity. But there is a responsibility, because we have the right to freedom of speech, right? But with that right comes the responsibility to try not to do more harm. with that right, right? It's like a very, very, very simple example is we have the right to bear arms, right? We don't have the right to shoot people in the face, right? We have the responsibility of maintaining firearms. We have the responsibility of keeping our firearms out of the reach of children. It's the same shit with the First Amendment. We have freedom of speech. We also have the responsibility to make sure we're not doing harm with that. You can't yell fire in a crowded building. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to coverage like what Brit does, or like what Rights and Rights was doing, they were careless. They were negligent. They have, in some cases, gone out of their way to, I think, intentionally drum up the drama and make the situation worse. I think that in Dulcie's case, she really wanted attention. And so she wanted to be like, oh, I'm on the inside. I'm here. I'm advocating for this person so that she could be an authoritative source on the situation. And then it backfired. It blew up in her face hard because she did a really shit job. So that's as I sort of get back into doing live streams, I think the next one I do is going to very specifically cover the Rights and Rights situation, because I want to talk a lot about how that situation was so fucky. But I do need to do more research before I get back into that, because I'm going to have to go and find all the videos that she deleted, because some of them were bonkers. And then, okay, just look at Brit here. Like, maybe this will be like a 3-part series. Like, I will cover Cursed Eye and her, quite honestly, pretty impressive coverage. I really think she's doing a great job. I will do another video specifically on Radiant Brit. Shit job. Stop making videos if you're just going to be mean all the time. And then maybe another video about Rights and Rights, because that coverage never should have happened. Ever. Like, and I don't think that someone who does stuff like that should be allowed to work in a courtroom, or should not be able to do social work. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I just as an example of Radiant Brit's like nonsense. Kevin Frankie engaged as demonic ex Ruby Frankie sits in prison. What? She's not, and this is the thing too, she's not demonic. There was nothing supernatural or otherworldly about the abuse that Ruby Frankie heaped upon her children. She was a very, very bad person. And I think that using words like demonic removes personal accountability from it. Right? She made the choice to do that. She wasn't possessed, you know? Ugh. Well, let's see what it says. I am intrigued. Now keep coming back. Join us. You should join me on a panel sometime and just react to blind to some of the nonsense we see. Not gonna lie, we would have the loveliest time. We could have tea. We could have tea. You know what we should do? We should have a stream where you just explain to me, like I'm fucking 5, the shit that you've been dealing with the last several weeks, and just have me react to what you're telling me in real time. Oh no, 3% BRB. Don't die. Ugh. Brie Olson, one of the worst moms on TikTok. I don't know why. This doesn't tell me anything. I don't even know who Brie Olson is. I'm not going to look to her for the coverage of it, though. I'll tell you that. Okay, and this video was like, the Resilient Jenkins have a new cat in the homeless shelter room. This is urgent. Why is this urgent? What are you expecting your audience to do? Applying urgency to a situation where the audience can do fucking nothing is just disingenuous and weird. Like, you're being weird, Britt. Calm down. I still have not watched that. Apparently Dulcie like really defended the Jenkins, and I'm curious about that. I'm really curious about that, so that'll be part of my research. Girl World Tea Time for Dummies. Yes. Someone explain to me Girl World like I'm 5 years old. Why are you so hateful? Okay, sorry. My microphone cord hates me so much. The titles are clickbait for sure. Yeah. Or overly dramatic for the sake of a view. That's my entire point. Radiant Brit is not in this because she wants anything except for clout and views. And whenever Stephanie's like, you people are just making content to make money off of me, she's right in some cases. She's right in terms of Brit. Like, stuff that is newsworthy can make good content, but like, Brit is not saying anything newsworthy. She's not particularly intelligent. She's not adding anything to the conversation. She's not reporting in a way that even makes sense. She's just throwing up a video of a toddler doing toddler shit and going, tragic. Like, calm down, Karen. Fuck off. I bet she, no, I'm not going to do what she does. Anyway, the Resilient Jenkins are unhinged and unforgivable. First of all, forgiveness is not for the people that you forgive. Forgiveness is for you. So, and forgiveness can only be given by those who have been harmed. The only people who are worthy of forgiving, who have a right to forgive Stephanie and Drew, are those children. So, I feel like it's not for you to say they're unforgivable. Wild. Anyway. The cheater returns. Ned Fulmer returns to YouTube to address cheating on his wife. That's like the sanest, calmest title in her whole thing. Also, I don't understand the complaints about the dog bed for the baby. Like, I genuinely don't understand. Is that a dog bed? I haven't actually Googled it. I meant to Google that. Let's see. I'm going to... let's find out if there is a sandwich dog bed. Oh my god, these are so cute. I like want this for my Corgi. She would love that. Anyway. Let's see. She comments. Sorry. I have y'all in a separate window because I don't have both of my things up yet. She's saying commentary on what we were thinking about the Resilient Jenkins, but then in turn it's not helping get the Resilient Jenkins out of here. Like, what? Okay, sorry. I had to read that a few times. She's saying commentary on what we are thinking about the Resilient Jenkins, but that in turn is not actually helping getting the Resilient Jenkins out of there. First of all, it's not on us to get the Resilient Jenkins anywhere. In fact, people should stop giving the Resilient Jenkins money because all that's doing is enabling them to keep doing what they're doing. People should not be giving the Resilient Jenkins views. That's why I didn't want to go to their TikTok. I'd rather watch the videos that I'm watching of the Resilient Jenkins through the lens of someone like Cursed Eye. That way I'm not giving them views. Yeah. I don't know if it was a legit dog bed, but Stephanie got it for clickbait because she knew everyone would be upset that the baby doesn't have a proper sleep area. I'm just saying that it doesn't matter in the end, because when I was a kid, we lived in a hotel for a little while because we were at one point too poor. And then at another point we were in between houses. We'd had to move out of one house and we were waiting for the next house to be finished. So we lived in a hotel for a while. I had just had a baby brother. He was 6-ish weeks old. He slept in a laundry basket with a really flat pillow because there was no room for a crib and the hotel we were staying in didn't offer cribs, right? I'm not saying that that's normal or healthy. I'm saying that they're in a situation if this was a legitimate situation, and this wasn't a situation where Stephanie just wanted to keep being in poverty, right? This would be a sad situation that you're going to do the best you can with what you've got. So, like, maybe she got that quote unquote dog bed for free. And, you know, just thought, okay, this is a great thing to use for. Oh, Val, did you find me? It's not even a Val, I fucking love you. It's not even a dog bed. It's not a dog bed. It's a freaking toddler portable. Oh my God. Hold on. I gotta pull up my Discord so I can pull this link up for y'all. Thank you, Val. Jesus fucking Christ. Jiminy Cricket. My flappers are gasted. I cannot believe that this is what people have been making a fucking fuss about. Oh, I'm so mad. Okay, hold on. This is a toddler bed. This is for humans. This is for human beings. This is not a dog bed. Why are people so sensationalist? Why are people making a big deal out of this? My God. Look at that. That is a whole ass human. I mean, this is definitely an AI picture because the bed is not that big. But, ugh. The power of the internet. All flappers have been casted. Yeah. Right? This is a really, really cute freaking toddler bed. Do they have a peanut butter and jelly one? Like, I'd sleep in one of these. This looks comfy as shit. I know. Am I saying that Stephanie is doing everything right? No. I think she's doing a whole lot fucking wrong, but I think we're looking at the wrong fucking shit. This is not a dog bed. Where is it? Please tell me someone. Shut the fuck up. Please tell me that someone. Okay. So this people in the comments are saying toddler. So, but she's saying dog bed. So she's just being sensationalist for the sake of being. She just wants views. People like this are what's wrong with humanity. I'm just saying. Like, that is so dumb. I'm so irritated. Oh, I'm like, didn't even show the tab. Sorry, I went to the video where she did the dog bed thing. And my God. Okay. Sorry. Gotta look at comments now. God, gumdrops. Overall, Stephanie shouldn't be exposing her children to the internet. Yes. Indeed. Most parents should not. Everyone should be like Val and me and just not have our children on the internet. Val has a code name for her kid. I use my kids' names, but Val has a whole ass code name for her kid because guess what? The internet doesn't need to know anything about our children. Overall, Stephanie shouldn't be exploiting her children in poverty for money and views, especially when she's getting paid for it and will not get those kids in a better living environment. Yeah, I mean, duh, but that's not what this is about. Like, this, no one can disagree on that. Like, that is an absolute 100% hard fact, right? What I'm concerned about is the coverage, and the coverage being stupid as hell. Like, Stephanie lets her dog sleep. It's cruelty gets worse as she lets her infant sleep in a super cute portable toddler bed. The horror. The fucking horror. How very dare she get her kid a cute little toddler bed. Especially since in a couple months, her kid will actually be a toddler. But no, we have to pretend that this is cruelty. No, the actual cruelty is the fact that she refuses to find a house for her children. This is not. maybe I'm just too optimistic in that I think that if people framed their coverage of things in a more honest and this is what it's really about kind of way, change could happen, you know? At least 100 was spent on her kid. I don't know. Like, I've just lived worse, and I feel that makes my bias show, but it's something. I think that's part of it for me too, because having lived in poverty most of my life, like having $100 spent on something specifically for me as a kid, that would have been like outside of Christmas and birthdays, where my mom was a single mom for very many of those years and did everything she could to make sure that we had good birthdays and Christmases. Like, she put herself into debt sometimes, and she really, I wish that she had, like, knowing what I know now, like, I wish she hadn't done that. But as a kid, I felt special, you know? And if there was a time that money was spent on me outside of a birthday or Christmas, like that to that level, that was a lot. And I recognize the sacrifice of that, you know? And I can assure you that Oregon CPS is really only interested in if progress is made. They try to keep families together. Yes. And in the research for this video initially, I did find a whole bunch of resources on that and some like anecdotal evidence to support that. And Texas is the same way. Like, when I was in foster care, their goal was reunification. The goal is not to keep families apart. The goal is to keep families together. So, I mean, CPS is going to do what they're going to do, but they're not going to try and take kids from their parents. That's not the goal. Oh, sorry. One of my partners texted me. Okay. Well, I don't think the family should be broken up, but changes should definitely be made for the betterment of those children. Absolutely. You'd be hard pressed to find someone who would disagree with that sentiment, honestly. I think everybody wants what's best for all children, you know? I mean, unless we're talking about the Israel-Gaza situation, but we're not, so... Okay. This woman. So something that I really wish that I had like downloaded before the video got removed. Cursed Eye did a video about
Hi, Chrisling.
the divorce from Stephanie's ex, and it got taken down for some sort of community violations thing, which is really stupid because she didn't violate anything, which means that I bet Stephanie reported a whole bunch. But anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk about for the Resilient Jenkins tonight. I have a few things that I'm working on because I want to, let me check comments before I switch over to that. Okay. There's a few things I'm working on. I want to work on a specific live stream about each person's coverage because Radiant Brit's coverage is garbage. Cursed Eye's coverage is actually really good, and I really, really appreciate that kind of coverage. And then I want to talk about the rights and rights situation, but those will all have to be their own separate lives. But then I also really desperately want to cover this motherfucker. I'm so invested in how crazy this guy's content is. This is an quote unquote anti-MLM guy. He basically spends his days sneaking into Zoom calls and harassing people and acting like he's literally an avenger. He calls his little group of people who do this Avengers. Okay. I don't think he's okay. But anyway, I really want to cover him, but I need to do a little bit more research. Because I think he might be actually breaking some laws. So I want to get some information together before I dive into this guy. But oh my God. But also the AI is just otherworldly. So silly. I think it was a great chat. Well, thank you, Valkyrie. We should definitely do a stream where you explain things to me like I am 5, because I really need someone to just break all that down for me. Because like I still don't know what happened with the Azria thing. I didn't even know until this stream that Azria and Hecate's daughter were the same person. I think. Unless I'm misunderstanding. So yeah. Anywho, I have to go, and I do fear my explanations will be like, so this and that, but also, I don't know. No, that's fine, because I've been around you long enough that I can like translate. So that's okay. Anyway, y'all have been awesome. I am going to hop off here now though, because it's been 2.5 hours and I kind of want to go eat dinner. Food is good. Made beef stroganoff for supper. The kid did anyway. That's true. Maybe I need you full-time, LMAO. Yes. Well, farewell. Y'all have a good night.